welcome to my channel and also welcome to my bathroom. Today I have a video for you that's sort of about makeup, but it's about something that I find pretty important, but I feel like some people just sort of underestimate the importance of, which is washing your makeup brushes. And yeah, this is something like back in makeup school, like I went to makeup school to become an actual makeup artist, and you know, it was really an important thing there. They were really taught to clean our brushes well, to clean our brushes after every person you put makeup on. And of course, as a makeup artist, it's even more important, simply because it's not very hygienic to apply full makeup on one person and then use the same brush unwashed on like 5 other people. Like, this is not very hygienic. But even on yourself, like obviously you don't need to wash your makeup brushes every single day, because who even has time for that? I don't. But it is handy to wash them at least once per week, because like this particular brush is a powder brush and powder is obviously dry usually. But for example with a foundation brush, you just don't want a cream or liquid product to stay in a brush forever. Because cream and liquids are like, you know, a favorite spot really of bacteria and such to really develop and live in, and this is not the sort of pets that I would want in my house or in my brushes. So yeah, I find it's very important to clean them once per week, and I thought I'd just show you how I go about it. Before we start, this is the soap that I like to use. It's Unicura Balance. Of course you don't need to use this particular soap, you can use any soap you want, but I did notice when I bought a even cheaper soap that my brushes just didn't, like especially the eyeshadow ones, just didn't get quite as clean anymore as they did with this particular soap. So yeah, use whatever you want, but do try out which soap actually cleans your brushes properly. Just to save some time and water and soap, I like to sort of like pair my brushes up with other brushes that have a similar washing requirement. So the big fluffy ones, smaller ones, or eyeshadow ones and cream ones. This one I don't use for cream, but this one does, I don't know, it just soaks up the product very well, even if it's powder. So this one needs a thorough scrubbing too. Also, to spare out some water, I always like to use a little cup to just hold some hot water, well, warm water, like it needs to be touchable. Just to make sure that I don't like waste gallons of water while washing my brushes, because that would, you know, be a waste. What I like to do is just dip my brushes in the water and try to keep the metal part as dry as possible, because you don't want the glue to dissolve. Never had that problem personally, but it could happen. And then just make sure they're covered in soap. You might want to double dip them, and of course obviously if the water gets dirty, just refresh the water. And then they can just wait around until I'm done with the rest. One more tip, I gotta admit, I'm personally quite rough at washing my brushes, but do try to, like, you know, move them around as if you were touching an eyeshadow palette and not slam them in there and crush them in there and ruin the hairs, because that would sort of ruin your brushes. Okay, so that part's done. By the way, about beauty blenders, don't bother trying that method because it just won't work, it won't clean them. The beauty blenders you do need to keep under the tab and just keep squeezing, and I'll just show you in a moment. And then we do need to turn the tap on to rinse everything off. About the beauty blenders, I'll just start with that in a moment, but I'll just do the explanation before you won't be able to hear me anymore over the sound of running water. What I do is just squeeze them until they're saturated with water, then rub them in the soap. Squeeze them out again, rub them again in the soap, squeeze them out again, and repeat the process until no product is falling out of it anymore. One thing in between, with a white brush it's possible that not all the pigment is going to come out anymore. Doesn't matter as long as it's been washed properly. And another thing in between of the washing, with the foundation brush, this time it did actually became clean in one go, If it doesn't, you can always just rub it over the soap again and rinse it underneath the tap. Pretty much the same as you did with the beauty blenders, and just keep repeating the process until no products comes out anymore. And of course, if you don't live alone, it's quite nice to actually clean the sink once you're done with it. Like I said with the water before, you don't want to get the metal entirely wet because the glue might be affected by that. So you also don't want to store your brushes with the hairy side up while they're drying. You want to store them with the hairy side down so all the water can get out of there. One, they'll dry quicker, and second, you won't risk ruining the glue. So what I like to do to get that result is just roll up a towel in a way that leaves me enough space to lay the brush down. But this way the brush handle will be just a little bit heightened, you know, from the position of the hair, so the water can just get out of there. Also, if you have brushes like this pencil brush, for example, which is sort of supposed to like turn into, you know, a point slightly, then it is of course useful to do that before it actually dries, because if it dries crooked, then, well, we all know how that goes with your own hair. You know, if my hair dries crooked, then it will stay crooked, and that's just not what I'm going for. But especially with brushes, that's also a thing that could ruin a brush. So do make sure that the hairs are all in the right direction before it starts drying. One other thing, yeah, I barely ever do it with my own, like, private use makeup brushes. Private use, not private use. Point is, yeah, but I do it with my professional makeup set. Like, I have a separate brush kit that I use on other people. For example, if I have a shoot, so like a makeup appointment, for photo shoot specifically, but you know, if I have to put makeup on people on like both Sunday and Monday, then obviously, especially if it's like cold outside and it's cold indoors, then my brushes just won't be dry the next morning. Which obviously will be sort of a downer. So what I do in such a case is I just blow dry them. Do be careful with that. It does work on most brushes. For example, I know with the Sigma brushes, they can stand a whole lot of heat. But not all brushes can stand that much heat. So do be careful with it. Don't just, you know, put the blow dryer on it and then suddenly realize that it all became one clump of plastic because the hair melted. You don't want that to happen because that would sort of suck. It would forever ruin the brush. Like, there's just no way of fixing that ever. So yeah, do be careful with it. You start with, you know, keeping the blow dryer far away and keep an eye on the hairs closely. Not too closely that you dry out your eyeballs with the blow dryer, obviously. But, you know, just so that if anything weird starts happening to the hairs, immediately put the blow dryer on a cold setting. Or if it doesn't have one, just switch it off entirely. Just to keep things safe, because you don't want plastic to melt, you don't want to cause a fire. You know, most people at least don't. So yeah, assuming you want to keep everything safe, be careful with it. And also make sure to blow dry it in the right direction. So like, you blow dry it on top to dry it, but also make sure to blow dry it with the hairs, like along with the hair, so it does keep its shape. Don't just keep the blow dryer blowing from the top, because you'll be left with a brush that looks slightly like this, which isn't very useful. So yeah, just keep that in mind. So that wraps up this video pretty much. I think I've mentioned everything that I wanted to mention about washing brushes, yeah. Obviously it's not rocket science, it's not something extremely difficult, like, you know, anyone can wash their makeup brushes. However, these are just some like tips and tricks and basics that I personally really did have to like figure out when I first started using makeup brushes. Like when I started to become serious about makeup. Because I did make some mistakes in the past, which have caused damage to my brushes, so that's just, you know, something, yeah, I hope I'll be able to help you prevent from happening to your brushes. If you did like this video, please click the like button, it would really help me out. And if you want to, you can also subscribe to my channel, and then you can see me actually also use these brushes freshly washed in the future. I don't really know what the next tutorial is going to be, but, you know. And yeah, also by the way, one other tip, if you have the problem of like even this Sigma brush, I use it almost daily and the handle is starting to come loose. If this part comes off the metal parts, just put a little bit of glue in there. Hot glue gun is something I often use. You can also use like very strong glue, whatever glue you have that's supposed to work on wood and metal and stuff like that. Put it in there, put the handle on, leave it dry, and it will be good to go again. Easy trick, but it's something I've had to do a couple of times with multiple of my brushes. But yeah, if you have any other questions relating brushes or relating anything really, but specifically with this video about brushes and how to keep them nice and like, you know, in shape and stuff like that, you can always ask me in the comment section below, and also below in the description box you can find a full list of all my social media accounts and names. I'd especially love it if you'd want to follow me on Instagram, because I always post there as well whenever I upload a new video onto my YouTube channel. Other than that was it for today. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. Other than that, yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!